guys, welcome back to my channel. This is going to be my tutorial for this bohemian tassel crochet bag. I did get this idea from a DIY blogger, and I will link her info down below in the description box if you guys want to check it out. She makes really cool DIYs. But yeah, so to get started, all I'm going to do is take this sugar and cream 100% cotton yarn. It is a weight 4, and then my 5mm hook. And all I'm going to do is create a slip knot and chain 2. So once I have my chain 2, I'm just going to place my hook through the very first chain, yarn over, pull through once, and then yarn over, pull through 2. And then I am just going to chain 1, and that's going to count as your first double crochet for this series. I'm going to take my hook and go right back through the very same loop, and then place an additional 11 double crochets through this loop. So by the end of the first round, you should have a total of 12 double crochets.
So, pass on lane, pass on crown.
So once you're finished with round 1, you should have a total of 12 double crochets. I am just going to place my hook through the very top of the first double crochet, and I'm going to connect this round together with a slip stitch. To begin on round 2, all I'm going to do is chain 3. This will count as your first double crochet plus an additional chain 1. So I'm just going to prepare for a double crochet, go through the very next chain, place 1 double crochet, and then chain 1 at the top of that double crochet. So I'm just going to repeat that again, prepare for a double crochet, place a double crochet in the very next chain, and then chain 1. So you are going to do this in every stitch around. So you should have a total of 12 double crochets and 12 chain 1 spaces. So once you are finished with round 2, I am just going to make sure you chain 1 at the top of the very last double crochet, and then I'm going to place my slip stitch in the second chain of the very first double crochet. So then to start on round 3, I'm just going to chain 2, which will count as your first double crochet for this round. Then you are going to be placing 2 double crochets in the first stitch of the row. Then in the very next stitch, you are going to be placing 1 double crochet, and then in the very next stitch, you are going to be placing 2 double crochets. So you're going to be alternating this pattern for this round, and just continue until you have finished round 3. You should have a total of 36 double crochets once you are finished. So now I am just going to be connecting my round 3 together with a slip stitch at the top of the first double crochet. So to begin on round 4, all you're going to be doing is chaining 4. This counts as your first double crochet and a chain 2. You're going to skip the very next chain and place a double crochet in the chain after it. So once you have your double crochet, you're going to be chaining 2 at the top of this double crochet. And then again, prepare for a double crochet, skip the very next chain and place it in the chain after. So you're going to be repeating this pattern for round 4. And at the end of this round, you should have a total of 18 double crochets and 18 chain 2 spaces. So once you've reached the end of this round, just make sure you chain 2 at the top of your very last double crochet and then connect it to the very first chain. Make sure you're only connecting it to the second chain because you have a chain 4 at the very beginning, so 2 of those is for the chain 2 space and 2 of those is for the double crochet. So connect that with a slip stitch, and to begin round 5, chain 2. Then you are going to be placing 2 double crochets through the chain 2 space beneath it. And then you're going to be placing a double crochet in the very next chain, which is connected to the double crochet beneath it. And then again, place 2 double crochets through the chain 2 space. So that is the pattern for round 5. You're going to just continue that until you reach the end. You will have a total of 54 double crochets. So once you're at the end, just connect it with a slip stitch to the very beginning double crochet. And then round 6, you're going to be chaining 4. This counts as your first double crochet and your first chain 2. So you're going to skip the very next double crochet, you're going to skip the very next chain beneath it, place a double crochet in the chain after it, and then chain 2 at the top of that, skip the next chain, place your double crochet in the chain after, and chain 2 on top of that. So you're going to be repeating this pattern for round 6. You'll have a total of 27 double crochets and 27 chain 2 spaces. So once you're finished, just make sure you're connecting it with a slip stitch on the second chain. And then to begin on round 7, which is the last round, you're going to chain 3. This counts as your first half triple crochet. So in the chain 2 space beneath it, you're going to be placing a triple crochet and then 2 half triple crochets through the very first chain 2 space. So wrap the yarn around the hook twice, go through the space, yarn over, pull through once, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. So that is a triple crochet. Then again, you're going to wrap the yarn around the hook twice, go through your chain 2 space, yarn over, pull through once, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 3. That is a half triple crochet. Place 1 more of those in the very first chain 2 space. Now you are going to be placing a double crochet into the chain of the double crochet beneath it. And then through the very next chain 2 space, you are going to be placing 2 double crochets. So then you are going to be just continuing that pattern, so placing a double crochet in the double crochet beneath it, and then 2 double crochets in the chain 2 space. You're going to be continuing that for a total of 18 times. So now I've finished that sequence 18 times, so excluding the very first space that you crocheted in with the half double crochets and triple crochets, you are going to have done the double crochet in between each 2 a total of 18 times. So now once you are finished, then you should be back to the top. And then this part we're going to try and level it out a little bit because this is going to be the top part of the bag. So now I'm just going to place a double crochet in the very next chain with the double crochet beneath it. And then in the next chain 2 space, I'm going to be placing a double crochet and then a half triple crochet. So 1 double crochet, then prepare for a half triple crochet, wrapping the yarn around the hook twice, going through the center, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. So now I'm going to place a half triple crochet in the next stitch. And then in the next chain 2 space, I'm going to be placing a triple crochet, half triple crochet, and a half triple crochet. So 1 triple crochet and then 2 half triple crochets. So then I'm going to place a double crochet in the next chain. And then I'm going to place 2 double crochet in the next chain 2 space. Sorry. And then I'm going to place a half double crochet in the next chain. So half double crochet is just wrapping the yarn around the hook once, going through the chain, if I can, yarn over, pull through. I'll have 3 left on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through all 3 of those. That's a half double crochet. And then I'm going to be placing 2 half double crochets in the next chain 2 space right here. So I'm just repeating that twice. And then I'm going to single crochet in the next stitch. So I'm just going to go straight through the stitch, yarn over, pull through, then yarn over, pull through 2. And then I'm going to be placing 2 single crochet in the next chain 2 space, 2 single crochet. Then I'm going to single crochet in the next stitch again. And then I'm going to be placing 2 half double crochet in the next chain 2 space. And then a half double crochet in the next stitch. So that's a half double crochet in the next stitch. Then I'm going to be placing 2 double crochets in the next chain 2 space. I'm going to be placing a double crochet in the next chain. And then 2 more double crochets in the last chain 2 space. And then I am going to slip stitch into the top of the very first triple crochet in the row. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, and then we are finished with the first half of the bag. I'm just going to cut this, leave kind of a long tail so that we can weave it in later, and then I'm going to get started on the back of the bag. So to begin on the back of the bag, I'm going to continue this same exact pattern all the way up until the 7th row. So I'm going to just make a second one of this exact same pattern. So I'm not going to include that because it's the same exact instruction as this one. So I'm going to pause and then come back once I've finished a second one of this. Okay, so now I have finished my second half of the bag. So I am ending on connecting the 2 row 7s together with a slip stitch. I haven't cut my yarn. I am just going to continue and create the flap that goes over to open it. So now we are going to switch from rounds to rows. So I'm just going to chain 2, which will count as the first double crochet. I'm going to flip my work over and I'm going to begin working in the back loops only. So I'm just going to be placing 1 double crochet in each of the next 16 stitches. So including with this one, there'll be a total of 17 stitches. So I'm going to be working in the back loops only. Placing 1 double crochet in each stitch. So now I have 19 double crochets all in the back stitch. So now I am going to start on row 2. I'm just going to chain 2, which will count as the first double crochet. And then I'm going to place a double crochet in each of the next 18 stitches. So you'll have a total of 19 double crochets. Okay, so now I'm done with row 2. I'm going to start on row 3 by chaining 2. This will count as 1 double crochet. Then you are going to place a double crochet in the very first stitch. Then I'm going to chain 1, skip a stitch, and place a double crochet. Chain 1, place a double crochet, skipping a stitch. So I'm going to repeat this. So now I've repeated that pattern till the end, and you should have 1 stitch left at the very end of your row. I'm just going to place 1 double crochet through that stitch to finish off row 3. So at the end of each row, you'll have 2 double crochets, and then you're going to have 7 double crochets along the row, and then 8 single crochet spaces. So then to get started on the next row, I'm going to chain 2. So I'm gonna just flip my work, and then I'm going to be placing 1 double crochet in every stitch on this row, so that's a total of 19 double crochets. Now for row 5, we are going to repeat the same pattern as row 3. So I'm just going to chain 2, flip over my work, place a double crochet in the very first chain. Then I'm going to chain 1, skip a chain, place a double crochet. Chain 1, skip a chain, place a double crochet. And you're going to repeat that until you reach the end of the row. You should have 1 chain left, and you're going to place a double crochet through the very last chain to finish off row 5. So row 6 is going to, again, chain 2 to start the row, flip over your work, and you're going to be placing 1 double crochet in every chain. So you'll have a total of 19. And for the chain 1s that go across the space, sometimes it's too hard to get your hook through that since it's not connected to anything. So if you want to just go through the entire space to place your double crochet for that chain, that's totally fine. That's kind of what I've been doing. It just makes it a little bit easier. But you're placing 1 double crochet for every chain. So I am just going to kind of speed through the rest because the remainder of the flap is going to be these alternating patterns. So for, let's see, what round are we on? Row 7, you are going to repeat this skipping kind of row pattern. So chain 2, place 1 double crochet in the first chain, chain 1, skip a chain, place your double crochet, chain 1, skip a chain, place your double crochet until the very end. You'll have 1 stitch left. You're going to place a double crochet through the last stitch. So I'm just going to do this for row 7. Then row 8, you're going to chain 2 to start the row, and you're going to repeating this row, which is 1 double crochet for every chain. So I'm just going to go ahead and speed through these next 2 rows and then come back once I've finished. So now I've just finished through rounds 7 and 8. Now we only have 2 more rows left for this flap for the front of the bag. So I'm going to repeating those 2 same rows over again. So I'm going to chain 2, do another row of the skipping pattern, and then my row 10 is going to be the final row, and it's going to be 1 double crochet in every chain. So just go ahead and finish that. I'm gonna skip through it since it's the same exact thing we've been doing. So now I finished with row 10. I'm just going to cut my string. I'm gonna leave a bit of a tail so that I can weave that in later. Just going to close that. So then you're completely done with both sides of your bag and the front panel. So now I'm just going to create the side panel for the bag. So